Good morning, everybody. Happy July 5th. I hope that, actually my lens is kind of dirty, so I'm going to clean that real quick for you. I hope that you guys had a happy and safe 4th. Man, the people in my neighborhood were setting off some crazy fireworks, they were like bombs, like so loud and so powerful, the explosions. They were setting off car alarms at like 2 in the morning. Crazy town. So I, for one, am glad that it's the day after fireworks day. And this one's gonna be a quick one. This is really something that's been coming up a lot lately with people reaching out to me. I'm seeing another wave of people waking up. I'm seeing another wave of people really beginning to consciously walk their path. I'm seeing another wave of people who are being activated and who are beginning to see their life shift, fall apart, change, crumble, get chaotic. And I understand that the first response or the first reaction oftentimes when life begins to shift around us and to reorient itself and to realign itself to support us in our journey to truth, we oftentimes think that we've done something wrong. We oftentimes think that it's about going into control. We oftentimes think that it is about trying to make or, grip onto things and try to keep it from falling apart, or this sort of panicked external, like, oh my God, what am I, this very reactive response to our experience. And I want to just affirm something for you. And I speak from experience, not only in my own life, but in the work that I've done with clients and in the groups that I host. There's always a message in the mess. Always. Nothing is happening to you. Everything is happening for your benefit. Everything is happening to move you into the direction of your truth, because your truth guides you to your purpose. And you can't stand in and live in your purpose without first getting really honest and truthful with yourself about everything in your life. There is not one area of your life that will go unexamined on this spiritual process. And this whole thing that we call ascension and this whole thing about a spiritual awakening is the return to truth. The return to the truth of who you really are. The return to the truth of where we really came from, what we came here to do, the way that this society was created and what it was really created for. All of that truth will be exposed. And it starts internally. So in order to lead you to your truth, and when you find your truth, then you also discover your purpose. And people ask me all the time, Andrew, am I on my path? I don't know what to do. And the good news is that if you're alive, you're on your path. The fact that you are watching this video, the fact that you are breathing, that you woke up today, the fact that you are still in a human form means that you are still on your path. There's still work to do. There's still more to be experienced and to be discovered through your experience. So the truth is that sometimes things fall apart. And in fact, things have to fall apart in order to be rebuilt. I've said this consistently throughout my practices, that creation and destruction are two sides of the same coin. You cannot have one without the other. Things must fall apart, especially things that are not built on truth or integrity, especially things that no longer serve you. So things must fall apart in order to rebuild. And, if you don't believe that I am true, then look around your house and, just for an example, look at all the things that are made of wood, and then tell the tree that destruction and creation are not part of the same thing. You got to chop down the tree if you're going to make something out of wood. You got to break the eggs if you're going to make an omelet. So destruction and creation are two sides of the same coin. You cannot have one without the other. And sometimes things in our lives get challenging so that we can face a fear, or so that we can move beyond what we've previously thought we were capable of. Resistance to our experience only adds another layer of suffering, which oftentimes then becomes an adversarial relationship with our experience. Let's just use physical symptoms for an example, because one of the things that all of us will go through, I would say on some level and in some way, is the experience of this physical shift in the body and the symptoms that occur because of that. And it can be as, for some people it's sleeplessness, for some people it is, physical pains, for some people it is, dietary changes, energy changes, sleep. I mean, it's sort of top to toe changes and physical symptoms, and they're going to be different for everybody. But most of us go through some sort of physical experience with these energies. And oftentimes what happens is we go into an adversarial relationship with that. So, let's say my frozen shoulder was an example. And for about 2 years, a year and a half, and I still have this pain sometimes that rears its head, but for about a year and a half, my shoulder, especially the left one, was so frozen that I could barely even move my hand above like this level. And I, for a long time, went into an adversarial relationship with my body. Why is my body doing this to me? What is going on? I hate this pain. I'm so, I'm suffering. I'm in pain. I'm debilitated. And it was very real. I was in pain. But what I realized is that by going into resistance with it, rather than allowing myself to be present and just say, okay, there's a message here. There's a reason that this is happening. I turned my body into my adversary. So then not only am I going through all these physical symptoms, but now I have created this whole level of suffering on top of it. I have turned my body into my adversary. My body is betraying me. My body is messed up. I hate my body. I'm mad at my body. It was this whole cycle that I had perpetuated. And what I realized is that I had completely put myself in this state of powerlessness, as if I had no way to communicate with my body, as if I had no way to connect with my body on a higher level of consciousness. And what it taught me was that I can have a dialogue with my body, that my body is sending me a message. There's something that my body wants me to know. So when things in your life fall apart, it's not necessarily evidence that you've done something wrong. It's not necessarily evidence that something is going wrong at all. What it is it is evidence that things are shifting and that things are changing. And this has been one of the tenets of my practice, and it's one of the ways that I live my life, is that if something can be taken from you, it will be. So if it can be taken from you, let it be. Because the only reason something is going to be taken from us is because we no longer require it, or the removal of it, or the experience of loss of it is here to teach us something. So, for example, when I didn't have money, and I know that this is a big one for a lot of people, is this idea of not having money and not having abundance and not having what we require. What it taught me was to master my discomfort. If you think of anything in your life that you are sort of at odds with, or that's a difficult situation, or that you're not quite comfortable in, I guarantee you that when you sit with that idea and you just allow yourself to be present, there is this storm of chaos. There's a storm of anxiety. There's a storm of fear. There's a storm of anger. There's a storm of physical, issues. Whatever it is, there's something going on around you. And there is always, even in the deepest, darkest, most mucky, messed up parts of your life, there is always that internal connection to your truth. And sometimes that is the only refuge that we have. Sometimes life is going to push us against the wall to get us to remember that, okay, no matter what, I always have this connection within to my internal truth, to my internal space. And when I can sit in the middle of this storm, when I can let this chaos just swirl around me and still maintain that focus, still maintain that connection to the truth of who and what I am, then that chaos becomes a secondary part of my experience. My life consistently has shown me has given me the opportunity to learn how to surrender the illusion of control, to learn how to surrender the illusion that anything outside of me ultimately controls me. That I am always connected here, and that it doesn't matter what's really going on out here. Once I find that place of connection, once I find that place of truth, then I can ask the question, how does this serve me? What is the value here? It doesn't have to be good or bad. It can just be valuable, and reminding myself to get to that place. So can we sit in a difficult situation without turning our circumstances into an adversary? Can you let your relationship with money, your relationship with your body, your relationship with your career, your relationship with love, because those are like the big four that I usually deal with clients and with groups. Think about how you feel about money. Think about how you feel about your body. Think about how you feel about love. Think about how you feel about your career, especially when you're in a less than desirable experience with it. For years, I thought money was the enemy. Money was the asshole. Money was the root of all evil. Money was my problem. I hate you. Why aren't you here? You're not around enough. You're not consistently in my experience. What is going on? And I started to really ask myself the question, okay, if money was a person, if I could personify money, and I was saying the things to a person that I was saying or thinking or feeling about money, would that person really want to stick around in my experience? If someone said things to me that I was saying to and about money, would I want to stick around? So it's about understanding that there is always a message in the mess, that when you allow your experience to be your teacher, when you allow it to show you another way, when you allow it to show you that, hey, this way doesn't really work anymore. You have a higher level of awareness. You have a higher level of understanding that's available to you. And you keep hitting this brick wall because this isn't the path anymore. And your experience isn't necessarily doing this to derail you or to, it's not out to get you. It's doing it because there's a better way. There's a different way. There's an alternative way. There's a new way for you to experience whatever it is that you are butting up against. So how can we sit in a difficult situation when life throws us a curveball and something has been chosen from the superconscious state and we say, what the heck is this? Maybe I am the creator of my experience and maybe I know that to be true, but I don't think I chose this. No, it's not necessarily the circumstances that you chose. It is the experience that the circumstances provide that's important. So when you receive and you observe what is happening to you in your world, and you disregard the physical circumstances and you go inside and you find that connection, and then you can feel into it. How can I maintain my connection in the midst of all this chaos? How can I maintain my focus on the truth and on the light when all I see around me is darkness? How can I let that candle continue to burn brightly and keep that flame strong when, man, there are like 200-mile-an-hour winds trying to blow it out? So it is about maintaining that place of connection no matter what. And it's not always going to be easy. That's not part of the deal. Easy doesn't require you to go outside of your comfort zone. Easy doesn't require you to learn something new. Easy doesn't require you to surrender your illusion of control and to find this place in here and to understand, this is a quote that I wrote several years ago. The only thing that guarantees stability and equilibrium within the entirety of our human experience is our ability to maintain stillness and to stay centered in the truth and the light of who you are. That's it. So it doesn't mean that there won't be action required. It doesn't mean I won't have to make a choice. It doesn't mean that things are never going to be challenging or difficult. But what it does mean is I don't have to become an adversary with my experience. I don't have to go at odds with it. It doesn't have to become a struggle of will. Your triggers are your teachers. Your triggers are your teachers. The things that still challenge you, and we all have those things, the things that still challenge you, the things that just make you want to lose your shit, the things that you want to fly off the handle and go into fear or go into panic or go into victim mode or go into poor me or go into defense. Those are the things that are coming to you to give you an opportunity to love and acknowledge a part of you that has yet to be acknowledged and loved. Because when my beliefs and when my actions and when my choices, when all of those align, when what I say and what I do and what I believe are the same thing, then I no longer require the lesson. When I can let the snarling, nasty, ferocious fear get this close to me. It's like that scene in Alien where the alien queen is like right there and Ripley's just like turning her face like that. When I can let my fear sit right next to me, breathing down my neck, and maintain my focus on love, maintain my connection to here, observe the storm, observe the chaos, feel the hot breath of fear breathing down my neck, and I am love. I am always love. I am never not love. And that is the truth. That no matter what, I always have this connection right here. And yes, there may be sometimes in my life when this feels like the only refuge I have. But as long as this is all that you know, what do you know? All I know is that this connection here is true. It is real. It is eternal. It is indelible. It is inalienable. This is the truth of who I am. This is the one that remains after all of this ends, after all of this falls apart. This is what remains, and I am this. I am the one who remains. So allow yourself to be present in your experience without feeling like you've done something wrong. Allow yourself to be present in your experience without feeling like there's anything that you need to change or to do or to control. Just be. Rest in that truth. Rest in that connection. And it will guide you to the right steps to take. When you reach that wall and you're banging your head up against it time and time and time and time again, stop. Stop beating your head up against the wall and go internal. Stop projecting the fear and the anxiety and the doubt and the sadness and the anger. Go internal. Find this connection. Rest in this and then ask the question. Show me the value that is present here. Show me a way to move through this from love and from truth. Show me a way to align with my purpose right now. If you're having a physical situation, show me how to thrive within my current physical circumstances. Not show me how to fix it or to change it or to shift it. That creates this idea that you are at odds with something. The question is, show me how to thrive and to maintain my connection within my experience as it is now. Show me how to stay in love in my current experience. So discomfort and challenge and difficulty teach us how to get back to the truth. When we use this muscle of this internal connection, when we learn to make our response, rather than reacting, because this is another truth that I know, the ego reacts, the heart responds. So when I go from reaction, which is defensive, pushing back, right? That's a reaction. A response is, wow, look at all this chaos. Look at all this crazy insanity. How can I respond to this? I go inside first. I maintain that connection. I check in. I go, okay, what's the integrity of my connection right now? Am I really there? Am I aligned? Okay. No, I'm a little flipped out. I'm a little freaked out. I'm feeling a little bit reactive. I'm feeling triggered. I'm feeling a little imbalanced. Okay, so I'm just going to find this first. I'm going to find this first. There we go. There it is. So I found it. And now I ask the question. Now I take the action. Now I respond. And the more that you do that, the more it becomes the most developed muscle within you. And when that is the strongest muscle that you have, then that becomes your standard mode of operation. That becomes your normal way of responding to your life, is through, okay, I always go inside first. And the more that you do it, the easier it becomes, and the easier it becomes, before you know it, it becomes second nature, and you don't even have to consciously think about it. It is the way that you respond. That's why meditation, that's why conscious breathing, that's why physical practice such as yoga or Tai Chi, anything that allows you to move from that place of focus and centeredness. Then you move forward, then you respond, then you make the choice. So there's a message in the mess. And the message always is, go inside first. Always. The message is, you haven't done anything wrong. Your life is just reorienting itself to move you in a new direction. And that direction is always towards your truth. And when you feel it first, you will know. And then it doesn't matter what it looks like outside. Because what it looks like outside might be 100 people telling you, go in this direction, you're crazy, what are you doing? Might be 100 people over here saying, why are you saying no to that? Why are you saying yes to that? You're crazy. Well, you can call me crazy, but I know what feels right. And even I may be at odds with myself and say, yeah, I don't know. This sounds like the craziest thing I've ever done, but it feels like my truth. Only I know what truth feels like. And when I am tuned in and when I am connected and I check in, this tells me yes. So that's what I trust. So no matter what it is that you're experiencing, no matter what it is that you're going through, find that connection first, and it will tell you what to do. It will guide you to whatever step. And that step is always going to include compassion, love, inclusion, unconditional love, acceptance of self, acceptance of where you are right now, loving yourself no matter what, and remembering that truth no matter what. So start there. It may not make the circumstances shift right away, but the way that you feel about the circumstances will shift, and I guarantee you that is 90% of the job, is how you feel about it. Because the minute that I stop letting my experience be my adversary, I drop the adversarial energy from my experience. When I say, all right, this is a really big lesson because right now I am really uncomfortable. My comfort zone is like this big right now, so it's time to bust out. It's time to bust out. Because only you know what your truth is, and it's your job to give it a voice. Nobody else can do it for you. Nobody. No thing. It's you. It's always been you. This whole journey is your relationship between you and you. It always has been. So when you learn how to find that place first, and you learn to speak from this place, and you learn to draw from this well, I promise you, with enough focus and enough practice, things will shift. They have to, because this is the primary reality, and all of this is secondary. That's it. Have a fabulous day. I love you. I'll talk to you soon.